Hi, welcome to my set of videos. This is Patricia Ann Landon Regali, Chief Little Flower, coming at you from the trenches of having been targeted. I am a targeted individual that have been targeted since about the age of 25 for about a couple of years. Then it would recess into the background on and off until the year of COVID, about 2020, whenever gang stalking had reemerged in full force and full effect. At the time of this recording, it is November 2024, and the gang stalking, the PSYOP assignments still continue. And so my videos they're about my experiences as a targeted individual. I had been railroaded out of a successful and thriving career as a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for about 13 years before I walked away from my profession as a paramedic for two reasons. The first one was so I could speak freely about being heavily targeted and gang stalked in medical facilities by other medical professionals. If I were to hold a job in the medical world, that would be a huge conflict of interest for me and any potential employer. And so I have a passion for sharing this with the world because what's happened to me can happen to anybody. And if we were to shrink in fear, how would anybody ever rise up to protect themselves and to arm themselves with the knowledge of objective data? And additionally, since I was being targeted in the medical world, I knew it was a matter of time before somebody was paid to bear false accusations against my license. In other words, it was a matter of time before people would just make false accusations on my license. So those were the two reasons why I had nobly walked away from my career as a paramedic. And so I decided not to renew my license, because if my license was inert and non-viable, nobody could make any accusation against it. So I stayed 10 steps ahead of the community-based harassment. And so these videos are about my thoughts. They're about my experiences as a heavily targeted individual. So thank you for stopping. How's it going for everybody? Happy Friday. Today's topic is going to be about stolen identity. I once had a friend whose brother stole his identity by using his, he gotten pulled over, used his driver's license number from heart, and of course he knew his birthday number and full name. And so for the dude that got his brother that got his ID ripped off from his own brother, it took a lot of money, time, and effort to get that reconciled. And so I know as a targeted individual, typically, I'm pretty sure that your standard template iota is to steal the identity, make it hard for the person to navigate their own life. And especially with a stolen identity. In my case, my death has been faked. I've been placed into a fake marriage. And I'm pretty sure that my birth certificate was even amended to accommodate the stealing of my inheritance. So how do I know all of this? Well, from the ethers. From the talented, wonderful conduits, intuitives, mystics, shamans, and psychic and mediums. So I know that sounds absolutely incredulous, but only time will tell. And so I am so steadfast on this. I have committed myself to sharing my information before the truth comes out, because the ethers has a strong place within the context of our society. But if you fathom that religion is man-made, and especially with the Vatican, I really don't think the Vatican has had our best interest in mind. I challenge the Vatican to invite me to come visit them, to do a look-see, to do an objective investigation. But, you know, I'm just one fish in a myriad of a big pond. But it's okay. One day when I become a big fish, maybe the Vatican might be so forthcoming to allow an independent third party to come and take a look and issue an investigation to see what's up. But then even when I do become a big fish, I don't think the Vatican would ever want me as an outsider to come in and do an objective research on their facilities, because I reckon they have a lot to hide. But just with seeing some of the video footage, such as a pope or one of the men of the cloth disappearing in front of a live TV and live cameras, to me, I was just like, oh my God, look, they're just exploiting the public. It's like, look, I can disappear. Well, maybe that's because you aren't all that human, are you? But I digress. And so, but I challenge anybody who thinks they know something about me with regards to all of this stolen identity to come in and tell me, fill in the ambiguity of my case with some truth and some value. As of today, December 20th, 2024, nobody has come to bridge the ambiguity in my case with some solid facts. There's so many people out there who have been gossiped to about me that think they know something about me, but yet nobody's come to bridge any ambiguity with even their third-hand information about the gossip that have been going on about me behind my back. So to anybody and everybody that hasn't come forward, fuck you, lovingly, because I don't understand how anybody could go on with their lives knowing such horrific claims, such horrific slander or libel have been laid claim to anybody, and have them not say a goddamn word. I did have one coworker approach me about Dawn Renee Barber. She said, I don't think she's as a good a friend as you think she is. She's been, and filled in the blanks for me, which I thought was very lovely. And it's not because gossiping is not gossip when it's truth telling to the person, so they can navigate their life independently without being duped by anybody else's duplicity. So if you had been victim to somebody else's slander about somebody, blame the slanderer, because they screwed up your life by bringing you the slander. Now you're a helpful enabler, especially if you haven't even done your own due diligence to figure out whether or not the slander had any merit to it. So I appreciate, no, I've had two friends. Missy came forward just to let me know that I was loved when I was absent from my mother's memorial. I was not going to go place myself in the crosshairs of being victimized by more bullying. Other than that, I was trying to get my life back on the track, considering I had my home in an array of distress whenever I was working during COVID, 80 hours a week. So a lot of the big how would I describe it? I'll just say that the big rule of thumb back then was to thank the civil servants who had been serving during COVID, which was nice, but man, there was a lot of you fuckers out there that was going into my home during COVID while I was at work serving during COVID. And then there are many others who had been privy to the second and third hand gossip about me, about the slander, and still not a goddamn soul has been forthright enough to come to bridge the ambiguity of my life with any sense of any information. So enjoy the same karma that your slanderer had been slandering if you decide to remain the helpful enabler of all this slander. But I'll reference another video on how to tell the truth. If you've seen my other videos, there is a prescription on how to tell the truth. And yeah, don't come to me unless you have fulfilled the prescription of telling the truth. That way you can be accountable for the information somebody else gave you and still make headway with being able to hold the slanderer accountable for their said slander. But until then, nobody's come to bridge any ambiguity in my life with any solid information about any of the slander. So if you had been privy to it, make yourself accountable by holding the slanderer accountable to it. So that way, more pieces of the picture of the gang stalking can come together. But we're in a day and age to where we have to lift each other up, not tear each other down. If somebody starts to gossip or slander, y'all need to shut that shit down or be accountable for it too, because we're moving into a new day and age, and nobody wants to partake of karma that they weren't maliciously engaging in. But whether or not you were malicious and you didn't make yourself accountable to it or shut it down, you will be accountable to it by the Most High. So let's make it a good one for everybody. Peace out for now.